My name is Ethan Carter. This story happened when I was in junior high school, an experience that left a scar on my memory forever. It all started on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon after swimming class. Everyone was getting dressed, chatting, and laughing when suddenly, a girl named Olivia let out a horrified scream. "My underwear is gone. Someone stole it," she cried. Chaos erupted. Students whispered, eyes darting around, looking for the culprit. Then, as if on cue, Mason, the school's golden boy and my personal tormentor, pointed straight at me. "I saw Ethan leave the pool and come back to the classroom during free swim," he announced. The room fell silent. My stomach twisted into knots. It was true, I had stepped out for a moment, but only to use the restroom. Yet, in everyone's eyes, that was enough. I was already an outcast, constantly bullied by Mason and his group. Now, I was the perfect scapegoat. "Admit it, freak," someone sneered. "Yeah, hand over Olivia's underwear," another voice demanded. I shook my head. I didn't take anything. No one believed me. Desks were overturned, my bag emptied onto the floor. They found nothing, but that didn't clear my name. "He must have hidden it somewhere else," Mason insisted. Then came the worst moment of all. The homeroom teacher, Mr. Dawson, arrived and dragged me to the staff room. He didn't ask for my side of the story. He only called my mother. "Mrs. Carter, Ethan is a prime suspect in a theft case," he told her over the phone. "I think it would be best if he apologizes." I expected my mother to defend me, but instead, she turned on me the moment she arrived. "Apologize," she demanded, eyes burning with anger. "Where did you hide it?" "I didn't steal anything." I protested, but she wouldn't listen. Olivia was brought into the office, and I was forced to bow in front of her. Still, I refused to confess. That night, my father found out about everything. Unlike my mother, he believed me. "We're not going to Olivia's house to apologize," he declared firmly. "If my son says he didn't do it, then he didn't do it." The next day, the bullying escalated. Mason and his gang taunted me endlessly. "Give it back, pervert," one of them shouted before kicking me in the back. I lost control and kicked him back, hard. Mr. Dawson intervened, but, of course, I was the one blamed. He called my mother again, and once more, I was punished at home. That night, I made a decision. I needed proof of my innocence. I remembered my dad had a small voice recorder, so I borrowed it. Each morning, I hid it in the hallway lockers, hoping to catch something, anything, that could prove I wasn't the thief. Days passed with nothing but frustration. Meanwhile, Mason and his friends continued their torment. Then, I had an idea. I cornered Mason after school near the lockers, making sure the recorder was hidden close by. "You did it, didn't you?" I accused him, hoping to provoke a reaction. He smirked. "Got any proof?" "Not yet. But soon." The real breakthrough came the next day. After school, Mason, along with his friends Lucas and Ryan, stood near the lockers, laughing. My recorder was already in place. "Dude, Ethan was so freaked out yesterday," Lucas chuckled. "Yeah, man," Ryan added. "Hey, why didn't we just hide the panties in his desk? That would have been the perfect setup." Mason laughed. "Nah, I took them home. Had some fun with them first." A wave of nausea hit me as the others roared with laughter. "Gross, bro. What did you do, jerk off with them?" Lucas gagged. "Used 'em a few times," Mason admitted casually. But whatever, let's frame him for real this time. We'll pour some water on them and stick him in his desk. No one will believe him. Ryan snorted. Damn, that's evil. I love it. My heart pounded as I listened to their confession. I had them. That night, I burned their words onto a CD and wrote letters to Mr. Dawson, the principal, my parents, and even Olivia's family. I included every vile thing they said. Then, I waited. The next morning, during our end-of-day meeting, I raised my hand. Mason shot me a smug look, certain I would be ignored. But this time, I wasn't backing down. Mr. Dawson, I have something to say, I declared. Sit down, Ethan, he dismissed me. I stood my ground. I know who really stole Olivia's underwear. And I have proof. Gasps rippled through the room. Mason's confident grin faltered. What the hell are you talking about? He snapped. I pulled out the recorder. You told us not to accuse people without evidence, right, Mr. Dawson? Well, here's my evidence. I pressed play. The room fell into dead silence as Mason's voice echoed across the classroom. Every disgusting word, every twisted laugh, every detail of their plan played for everyone to hear. Olivia's face turned pale. Some students looked away in disgust. Mason lunged at me, desperate to snatch the recorder, but I was faster. I kicked him backward, knocking him onto a desk. Mr. Dawson yelled for order, but it was too late. The truth was out. When the recording ended, I turned to Mr. Dawson. Now do you believe me? His face was ashen. Ethan. I'm so sorry. Mason, Lucas, and Ryan were speechless. The entire class stared at them, their former admiration replaced by pure disgust. No one would ever trust them again. Mr. Dawson dismissed the class early. That evening, he and the principal came to my house to apologize. My mother, ashamed of herself, doubled my allowance for a year as a way to make amends. Olivia's family also apologized, and Mason's parents were forced to come to my house to offer a formal apology. As for Mason and his gang, their reputations were destroyed. No one wanted anything to do with them. They became the outcasts they had once made me. That recorder? I still have it. A reminder that sometimes the truth doesn't need people to believe it, it just needs proof. And that's the story of how I cleared my name.